Hi, what's up? It's Michael, host of the Smoke Pit Podcast. We are back. I know it's been a little while, but we are back with Jake, aka Snapkeep. Man, how you doing?
What's going on? What's going on? I'm excited to be back, getting back in the studio, getting things going. A little different today. We don't have a guest to fill that empty airspace. It's just going to be you and me
Yeah.
hashing it out back and forth, but nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, no, not at all, man. I'm just excited, dude. Wearing the jersey again, man. It's gonna be a good time, dude. I'm excited. I I'm sick, but I'm feeling better. I drank some tea. It's called throat coat, believe it or not. Super weird name. I was like, okay, man, if that's what they call it these days, right? But throat coat tea, man, it's actually doing some good here. But I don't know what it is, man. I don't know if there's a lot of people getting sick around you, but there's a lot of people sick here, a lot of people sick in Arizona, and a lot of people sick in Texas. I don't know what the deal is, man, but everywhere around these three states, I'm hearing it's getting everybody.
It might, I mean, we're at the start of flu season, man, or
True.
start of winter, it's just where it gets bad. The temperature drops and everyone just gets sick.
Yeah,
Because it's
and
the,
all we did in COVID was stay inside, right? So,
yeah.
yeah. Oh man. All right. Well, just for everybody who's listening, man, we're just gonna be talking just a bunch of games today. We haven't really had the opportunity to really sit down and just talk games when Regiment is a gaming team itself. So we're gonna talk about everything new in the gaming realm. And then we will have another episode that's coming very soon with the guest on it as well, because we have been a pretty obviously guest heavy show. But I just want to talk about games, man. You already mentioned Pokemon. I haven't played Pokemon in a while. I've actually teeter-tottering on the whole, like, maybe get back into Pokemon thing, but I don't know, because I'm getting ready to go on a deployment soon anyways, so maybe I'll get myself a Switch, get some Pokemon, but I don't know. But I think you should hit us with the first topic, because I'm gonna slide into Halo here soon, because everyone knows Halo's my favorite game, but I want to see what you're
All
bringing to the
right.
game, and then, or bring it to the party, and then we're gonna keep going back and forth.
Sure. So, I mean, you already mentioned it. So, Pokemon and the Nintendo company, they've been doing a lot of teasers the last couple months. Their next big installment in their mainline series is Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, which they name their games based on colors or
Yeah, yeah,
gems,
yeah.
and this is their newest one and adds new mechanics and all kinds of stuff. And this one is actually
I'm gonna look it up too.
got a lot of people really hyped because it adds something that the other games haven't had, which is you actually get to play cooperatively with other people
Okay.
and actually it's an open. So they toyed with the open world notion with one of the games that came out about I want to say a year and a half ago, which
Mm-hmm.
is Legends of Arceus, which was different than the normal Pokemon formula. There was like its own like storyline, and there was like side quests. It was like its own like full on RPG in the Pokemon universe,
Okay.
and it was open world, and you could roam and explore over the place. So they've taken, I think, the lessons learned from that in some of the newer generation games, and they've incorporated into this next one that's coming out. I believe it's mid-November, and
Ooh.
it it's not just, oh, we're gonna go and get the badges and be the champion, because that's one of three main story missions. So that's one of them, and then there's two other ones that involve like uh, exploring the world and like go defeating the big bad enemy team. Or like organization. I'm spacing on what it is for this game. And there's also an aspect of your character in this game is a student at a school, and there's aspects that play into one of the storylines as well. So you have so much to do, and it doesn't matter which one you prioritize. You could do all of them. You could just focus on one of them, go back and forth, and it's all in this open world and that's where the co-op comes in. Is you can explore this open world with other people,
Okay.
and they've got a lot of exploration that goes into that because they haven't explicitly explained how you're going to do this and how you acquire the Pokemon. There's a Pokemon in the game that functions as sort of like an all-terrain vehicle
Okay.
that you can ride on, kind of like a motorcycle, but it also can like fly or drive on water. So it's going to be your sort of a means of fast traveling around the map. and
Mm.
you're going to acquire at some point. And the big thing that a lot of people think is interesting, so the box art Pokemon, like the which are traditionally the legendaries or big mythical Pokemon in each individual game, look very similar to this like uh, like vehicle Pokemon, and
Okay.
maybe it's something that evolves from that, and a lot of speculation, and there's little mechanics and cool Pokemon that they've spoiled, all and everyone's they have polls going of which Pokemon they want to do as their starter and stuff like that, but a lot of really cool mechanics and things like that they're introducing. They're the core formula of Pokemon has stayed the same, but they have definitely, they keep adding and expanding on it, so it's not just, a game that you're gonna play one time. You're gonna sink a lot of hours into it.
I like that, man, and that's how it should be. I mean, oh my goodness, man, I still remember playing like the older Pokemons on my Nintendo DS. I didn't start with like the Game Boy. I started with the Nintendo DS, but
I
I believe
definitely
it was
remember.
Pokemon Red that is the one that I was playing.
Not on the DS, no.
Not on the
So
DS.
so you could have been if you had one of the older Nintendo DSs that could play
Yeah,
Game Boy Advance games.
yeah, Game Boy Advance in the bottom of the
Okay,
DS, right?
that you were playing Pokemon Fire Red.
Oh,
The
then probably
original,
that one because
yes,
I got
yeah,
Torchic, man. I got him all the way up
yeah.
to
No,
Blaziken,
so
man.
that's not Red. That's Ruby.
What? No, I don't think I was playing
Yes,
Ruby, man.
Torchic is the starter for Ruby and Sapphire.
But I didn't start with. If I had the
It's
choice between the three, I could do Torchic,
it's
uh,
Torchic, Piplup, and Trico.
Piplup, and Trico. What? That's what I was playing?
Yeah, so Ruby and
Wow.
Sapphire is that. So those ones they are that's a Game Boy Advance game. The
Hmm.
same generation, the third generation, Fire Red and Leaf Green are also that, and Fire Red does have some Pokemon from the later gens when you get to the later portions of the game
Hmm.
because it's a remaster of the original. But yeah, I remember growing up with
Interesting.
my older brother. We played like OG Red and Blue on the Nintendo, like the actual like Game Boy, no
The
shit Game
OGs were
Boy.
black and white, right?
Yeah.
That's probably no fun, though. I mean, I bet it was fun, like, when it
Well,
was a thing, when it
so
turned yeah, when it first started.
the crazy part isn't the black and white. Black and white. So I was like, oh man, you play a game in black and white. But there was also it's kind of hard to think about it being a big deal. But
Mhm.
those old handhelds, they didn't have a backlight.
Yeah.
So if you're playing like in a car or at night, you can't see the screen.
Oh.
You actually needed a lamp. And so a lot of the older handhelds, like the first Game Boy Advance or the first Game Boy Color, they had an attachment that would plug in to the handheld, and it was just a little LED light that had a little like bendy arm to be able to have like point over the screen so you could see in the dark.
Dang.
Yeah, man,
I just couldn't even
technology's come a
imagine.
long way. Yeah.
Yeah, now if I'm using anything, I don't want any lights to be on, you know? It's just kinda like me and the
Yeah.
device that I'm using. That's crazy. Well, I mean, I'm not like a super big Pokemon fan anyway, so it's not like I can pretend and be like, "Oh, yeah, man, I grew up playing it." Like, no, I mean, I collected some of the cards here and there, the Yu-Gi-Oh cards, and then some of the, I think it was the Garbage Pail Kids cards,
Oh
the
yeah, I
weird
remember those.
yeah,
Yeah.
really weird things. And then the original Mario Kart was like my jam, especially
Oh
on the
man.
Nintendo DS. Because when I found out you could actually play online, man, it was just no holds barred. Especially because you can design your little logo for the front of your freaking cart, man. And I just, yeah, I remember making some logos that I shouldn't have been making at the age. But I mean,
Oh,
yeah,
oh
we all
gosh.
did that.
Oh, so you could do that. Not it's not you couldn't fully design. So going back to what I remember Halo 3 making emblems in that one and all the different shapes and combinations you could do
Yeah,
to make it because like you didn't have free design, but it was like you had the like 40 backgrounds and then the 40 symbols in front of that and you'd mix and match the colors to make them look like other images the way
yeah,
they
yeah,
like overlapped. Because you
yeah.
could make a little ghosty that looked kind of like Kenny from South Park with a couple of the symbols and stuff like that.
Damn, I don't even
Um,
remember doing that. I remember doing something sick though with Reach. Like you would be able to take the regular. it was the logo of the Spartan helmet or Master Chief with the swords going through it. And then if you put a diamond on there, it'll almost turn it into like the Predator. And it looks
Yes,
so
yeah, I
freaking
remember
cool,
that.
man. It's just small stuff like that where like you figure it out or you see somebody do it and you're like,
Hmm.
yo, I gotta do that, you know?
Or the first time you see a video of someone on on any of the Halo maps being able to, or Halo or Call of Duty being able to get outside the map with a glitch, and you're like,
Eh,
okay, well I have to learn how to do
ah,
this now.
yeah. Oh my
Uh,
goodness, man.
I
I st-
remember I remember Modern Warfare 2. The big ones for Modern Warfare 2 was elevator glitches, where you'd get to
yeah, yeah.
the vertical limits on the geometry, and you'd just be floating in midair, walking along the stencil of the map.
Dude, my favorite thing was getting mods for my PC for the first time. Like my little like Acer laptop I had that I was pushing
Hmm.
Black Ops 1 and it couldn't even really do that. I remember getting the mods and doing like zombies. So I'd go on like Keynote or Toten and I'd look at everything in like no clip mode. And I thought it was like the coolest thing. Like just going around and finding weird things. But then like in game, like Halo, dude, like going in the outskirts map and being able to go up top and find the soccer ball on
Yeah.
Halo 2. Like stuff like that is like
Oh,
the coolest thing.
the skulls, going through campaign in
Mm,
Halo to find
mm,
all the skulls to unlock. So
mhm.
much fun.
Oh, absolutely, man.
Except for in all of the Halos, my least favorite is on the truth mission of Halo 3, getting the Ifwabid skull. I would have been your daddy.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah,
Where you
yeah.
get the Easter egg dialogue. The way you
Mhm.
get that one is the dumbest thing, because you have there's this series of lit up rings leading up to where
Oh
Truth is standing next to the flood, and you have to jump
yeah,
through them in a stupid order, and it's
yeah.
so easy to mess up.
And I know somebody didn't find that out by accident. Like somebody
Yeah,
decoded the shit
oh,
and figured it out.
absolutely. No one was jumping through those in some random ass order. Like, oh, maybe they light up.
Oh yeah, I like that they did that though. I think that's pretty cool because when you go in there, you're like, these rings just kind of don't like. It's just, what are they doing here? You know?
Yeah, it's just a visual.
Yeah. Oh
But
man.
yeah,
All
like
right. We're
this.
since we're already talking about Halo, man. Ooh, woo.
Yeah,
Oh
dive in,
my
man.
goodness. I'm excited. I'm excited. Now, I don't know about you. I feel like we talked about it the other day. Really not touching Halo Infinite since it's come out. There hasn't been, in my opinion, too, there really just hasn't been a lot of grab to even play the game. What I did go back and download and experience was the Last Spartan Standing. Have you experienced that? Have you seen it?
I hope not. Yeah.
No. So Last
Give
Spartan
me the
Standing
lowdown.
was like, it's like their BR mode, right? It's their take on a BR mode. It's actually pretty cool. The problem that I have, though, it's the same XP system they've been running since the start, which if you don't complete a challenge, you get probably 100 XP. So you have a whole bar to fill up like this to level up, and you go, even if you get 30 kills and only die 5 times. Somebody else who only gets like 10 kills and died 15 times gets the same XP as you. That bothers me. I feel like if you go into a game and you're doing hot, man, you're living life, tearing it up, you should be getting more XP. So in November, they're going to be doing the next update and they're going to have match made XP. And that's what I've been waiting for. Because I don't know if I mean, I'm sure you do. Halo Reach, like getting a lot of kills, your XP would go higher. Sometimes you got the slot machine, you get that 3,000, you freak out. You're like, yeah. Like that's what they're bringing back. I don't know if they're going to bring back the slot machine quite exactly, but they're going to bring back actual match XP. It's called XP beta, which that I also don't understand. If you've already done it before, then I don't know why you're doing a beta for it, but maybe they're seeing how it works with their new engine, with everything they got going on. I don't know, but they're bringing back the XP. I'm super excited for. And then obviously Forge mode, right? Forge mode is coming back to Halo. I am super excited for it. Have you seen the video on it?
I've seen snippets of it. I haven't seen the full thing yet. I'm probably
Dude.
gonna watch it right after this.
Dude, you can literally take an object that's this small, take it and just go whoop and expand it all the way to like as big as your heart's content, man. And it's still the same detail. And then you can take different things, like you can take a sculpture of a grunt and you can change the metals and the material and everything that's on it. So if you prefer the grunt to actually have the red armor on the back, you can change that now. You can make objects however you want. And it's super freaking cool, man. Super exciting. They also came out with this lighting and audio video too, that I still need to watch and look at. But I'm excited for what's to come. What I do need to find is the picture that they uploaded for it. But I don't know. You said you barely touched Halo Infinite though when it came out, right? You haven't even touched the campaign, right? At all?
No, I didn't touch the campaign because it's one of those things that like I I liked Halo 4's story, right?
Okay.
And when Halo 5 came, I was eager to play Halo 5 when it came out, and I beat it within the first 36 hours of that game coming out.
Mm.
I played the crap out of Halo 5, and I own two copies of Master Chief Collections. I have it on my Xbox and I have it on PC. Um, and like I've just played so much Halo over the years, but the
Oh yeah.
gap between 5 and Infinite was pretty sizable, and it kind of like it hurt my desire. Not to mention that for the longest time, not knowing what platforms it was going to be available on, because
Mm-hmm.
there was so much things changing between like Bungie being acquired by uh, other not industries, but like other companies and stuff like that,
Yeah.
and changing
343.
hands. Yeah, and just wondering, okay, well, is it just going to be on Xbox? Is it be Xbox PC? Is it Xbox PC PlayStation? They never gave a clear answer, and they kept kind of toying with it back and forth. And I had planned on getting a PS5 when it came out, and that went by the wayside because of inventory issues, and I just ended up upgrading my PC instead with that money, which was fine. I have no issues with that, but all in all, like all of that kind of soured the expectation of Infinite. Like I almost missed when they dropped their multiplayer, and
Mm-hmm.
I played that and it was fun. But I also kind of realized that the game, like what made Halo for me, and all that, and what I enjoyed about it, isn't what the game is today. And that isn't to say that what the game is today is bad. The game is great,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
it is not the game that I personally am nostalgic about Halo 4. Like Halo about, you know.
Yeah,
It's
and I remember when Halo 4 came out too, I wasn't entirely into it, and I found it to be more of it almost like Halo 4 felt like Halo meets Call of Duty because you had the loadout
yeah,
system and you kind of had that sprinting system where it was just kind of like everything together. I was like, wow, this really takes this Call of Duty approach. But then in Halo 5, I really liked what they kind of did with that because they had the breakout mode, I thought was really
yeah.
cool. The Warzone mode, which was incredible. That was super freaking cool too.
Yeah,
Um,
the PvP really they stepped it up for esports and stuff like that, and they got their game modes and
yeah.
really well done. And it's weird to say because it is so well done and it's perfect for that type of mentality.
Oh yeah.
And it sounds weird to say, but my favorite Halo is Halo 3 when it comes to the multiplayer, and it's almost like I miss the rigidity of the movement back then. You
Mhm.
know, it wasn't a lot of sprinting and high movement. It was your shots and just a little bit of crouching and jumping. You know, like
Yeah.
everything was pretty telegraphed, but
Well, dude, my
it was
favorite term
all
that I've ever heard for that too, they've called that movement, they called it deliberate movement. You really
yeah,
had to be deliberate with what you did. You really had to time your crouch jump. You really had to have that skill in that fight. And then now, I mean, you can just kind of jump out of the way and be wherever you want. Halo 2, Halo 3, you were in the middle of the map. If you didn't know what you were doing, you were probably going to die, you
the
know?
moment you start that jump, you're in it.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh,
You're
yeah.
not stopping it.
Yeah, you can't just go backwards, just to correct yourself. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I feel you. Halo 3 was incredible. Reach still to this day though was so impressive to me and I'm so sad that
Yes.
they sunsetted the online for Reach because I would always go back to it. Halo 3 I would always go back to it. There's nothing like on a Sunday afternoon or a Sunday morning you wake up and you're feeling nostalgic and you're like, "You know what? I'm going to go play some old folks in freaking Halo 3." And you get on there and all you got is all those old heads that just can't they can't get away from the
Hmm.
game and you're just having this really good time. They sunsetted it. And now I'm forced to like don't get me wrong, man. Master Chief Collection is a good game. But my goodness, man, they have added so much into that where it kills that nostalgic feel that I used to have. But there's a couple things they brought back. You can actually what I hope that they do too, actually, I kind of wanted to speak on this. The Master Chief Collection, they actually did this thing where you can actually change the background of the MCC main menu to whatever you want. So you can have like Halo Reach
Um,
picture or a Halo 2 picture or Halo 3. But what everybody's saying is, what if they brought back the main menu for Halo 1, 2, and 3 and Reach as a main menu uh, choice for Master Chief Collection? Can you imagine? Dude,
that'd be
booting
real
up
nice.
Halo 2 with that main menu, that theme, dude. Oh man, dude. And 3 just going through the whole little wasteland, man. Oh man. Yeah, I can nerd out. I could watch that all day, dude. I have actually. I'm not
I
gonna
don't know
lie.
what the last time that you've played any of those the campaigns in those games, but when you because on the fly the way the settings are you're able to on the fly switch between original graphics and remastered
Yeah,
graphics.
yeah, yeah.
We have come a long way from how bad those polygons were in like
Oh
the like
yeah.
original Halo. And it was funny when Master Chief Collection came out, Halo 3 had the worst graphics.
Mm-hmm.
As weird as that sounds, because 4 was on next gen console,
Yep.
and 1 and 2 1 it was already remastered, a while back, and then
Yeah.
2 got remastered for Master Chief Collection. So Halo 3, the one that's like all the nostalgia and like all the love for, had the worst graphics and was the most plain, which was so
Yeah.
funny playing through them.
But three's like so iconic, right? But man, still to this day, dude, I wish they would have just only remade Halo 2. Imagine if they treated Halo 2 like they treated CE and had its own disc, like its own box. That would have been so freaking cool, man. I would have loved that. All that art too, that concept art for what Halo 2 anniversary was going to look like. I was like, dude, it's going to be way too badass cuz I have the steel case edition of Halo
Yep.
2 still, man, and I love it. Imagine if they redid that. Oh,
The collector's edition
ooh.
pre-order Halo 3 Spartan helmet.
Dude, $300 I would have spent it, man. Yo, I would have spent it. Let me tell you. Speaking of helmets too, man, they just came out with another collector's item. It's a wearable helmet too. Not that I would probably wear. You know what? I'd probably wear it. But they came out with a helmet that's got the LEDs on the side for the Master Chief helmet, and it
Yeah, for the
looks
lights, yeah.
incredible. But I don't want to get it because it's plastic. I don't like because it's the flimsy plastic. I
Mm-hmm.
want the old Halo 3 Master Chief helmet that
Was
was like
heavy.
just steel, dude, just
Yeah.
badassery going on, you know?
But it
It's
was obviously, it meant to sit on the shelf because you couldn't wear that unless you had like a
no.
very small, it was like that big.
Yeah, and you'd probably have to break the thing just to even get it off
Yeah.
to wear it, you know? But those are the collectibles that I liked, you know? You take a look at some of these ODST collectibles now, man, they're all $100+. It's
Mhm.
incredible. Anything about the ODS rookie, man, is literally like $100, $200 because they're so freaking rare. But that was when the stuff was good. And then I felt like in Halo 4 and 5, everything kind of turned into like plush toys, mega blocks, and just I don't know what they did with it. They took an M-rated game and turned it into some kind of kids game. And I don't know how we actually even got there. It's actually pissing me off right now. How did we get there? We got from this sweet military feeling game to plush toys and little plush grunts and stuff. And I'm like, man. But I sent you on Discord. I sent you the link
I
for
saw,
their
yeah.
update, kind of everything they're looking at doing. They're bringing Forge Beta. They're doing a 30-tier battle pass. They're bringing that back, and then Campaign Network co-op. So they're finally bringing co-op to fruition. Although they did mention about canceling that, but I hope they don't because you have the multiplayer experience of Halo, but the whole other thing about Halo, it's always been that split screen gameplay with your friends, or your significant other if y'all were getting down like that on some Halo, but just being couch potatoes, man, and split screening the shit
Yeah.
out of some Halo. Like that was classic. And they're like, yeah, we're just not going to do it. I hope that's not true, but that's the word around town. And it was mentioned that we're probably going to can it. Now, if they can it, that's ridiculous. It doesn't make any sense. And then 2 new maps, Match XP. Don't know what that January event is. Quality of life improvements, standard crap. And then I guess one flag cap, which sounds kind of actually cool. I can get down with some one flag cap again. But I was never really a capture the flag kind of kid. I know a lot of people love that though. You're talking about Blood Gulch, capture the flag, man. That was people's lives, man. But and Blood Gulch, the only thing Blood Gulch makes me think about now is Red versus Blue. I don't know if you're a Red versus Blue fan, but I
Oh
watched through
yeah,
the
dude.
whole
I've
entire
watched it
series.
all. Yeah, I watched it all.
Dude, 2 years ago, I caught all the way up to like season 17. Bro, I'm going to tell you right now, it blows my mind how they connected that story together to where it
Yeah.
got to the point that it did, where you're like, yo, everything that happened in season 1, 2, 3,
Hmm.
4, 5, 6 all serves a purpose. Once you finally get to season like 17 and 18, you're like,
Hmm.
what? And then, bro, now
So
the editing, bro, for Red versus Blue, are
yeah.
you kidding me?
Well, can you imagine
What?
if you think about originally the first I think it's 5 or 6 seasons where it's literally just them playing Halo and
Yeah.
just dubbing over gameplay, right? And getting enough traction that they're able to get the core modeling software from the devs to be able to do that editing. They get the
Mm-hmm.
license to use the models, which is such a
Because I
huge
think they started
nod.
working with Bungie, right?
Yeah,
That's such a
and they
vibe,
actually
dude.
got yeah. It's like that's crazy to think about. You know what I mean? Because like
Yeah.
they were just like a few people, just having fun, making goofy videos.
Yeah. And then I think in Halo 4, they had a couple of those Easter eggs where you'd be able to go find
Yeah.
some of the radios and it would play clips from Red versus Blue. Dude,
Mm-hmm.
that's just so cool. Can you imagine, too, just being them and then finally Bungie reaches out to you and goes, yo, we like this. We want to play a part
Mm-hmm.
in it. You know what I'm saying?
And they did some of the PSAs for some of the later Halo games and stuff like that.
Yeah. Man, dude, exciting
You mentioned
times.
so you dropped a sweet term earlier, the ODSTs,
Yeah.
orbital drop shock troopers,
Yeah.
and man, Halo 3 ODST. While it was such a small game, it was like it was the game you didn't know you needed.
Yeah. Oh,
It
yeah.
was such an interesting perspective on the story. You weren't playing as a big bad Spartan or the Arbiter. You know what I mean? You were just
Yeah.
you know part of the USMC and doing some of these side missions using silenced weapons that you'd never used before.
Oh, yeah.
Like, a lot more stealthy and all that.
Well, dude, and
And
it captured that feeling of being alone, man.
yes,
Being
and
alone.
separate from the awesome campaign, for those people that maybe didn't shell out for all the DLC packs up to that point, it came with every DLC pack for Halo 3, all of the
Mm-hmm.
maps, end to
Oh,
end.
yep. Oh, I remember getting that double disc edition, dude, of
Yep,
ODST that had I forgot the name of it. But yeah, I remember playing that the most.
yep,
Oh
and
yeah. And it had its own main menu theme too, man. Oh.
yep, and that was around the time they introduced the truest uh, sandbox map for Halo 3, at least,
Called
which
Sandbox.
called Sandbox, where they
Yeah.
made the actual Griffball Stadium underground.
Yeah. Dude, and you
And
remember trying to get that fucking skull, man?
yeah,
Dude, getting
that
that
skull's
skull on
awful.
Sandbox was so
Way
hard.
out there.
Oh my goodness. Oh man. I remember, and I
The
remember
the
looking up
trick
the
I used to
videos for
use,
that.
yeah, the trick I would use is so you take you go in Forge, right? You
Yeah.
go into editor mode. You take one of the long container boxes, the one that
Mm-hmm.
has but one that's hollow, right? If you turbo fly while you're holding it, you'll kind of fly partially inside of it, and you can kind of use it as a shield from the explosions and go across the
What?
sand.
I built the
Yeah.
tunnel every time, man. And I remember dying halfway in the tunnel. I'm like, man, I got to run through it again. Because you get to the point where
Yep.
you have to start deleting what you've already done in
Yep.
order for you to fully get to there because of
Hmm.
obviously the budget. Speaking of the budget, too, as well, what a segue for the new Forge, man. The budget is huge. Dude, it's like 10 times the budget size of Reach. And I don't know if you remember Reach, but you could do a lot in Reach. Dude, now, oh, have you
Have you
seen
done
any of the maps that people have done right now for Halo Infinite's Forge?
not for Infinite? The last time I really looked at Forge was Halo 5, and Halo 5 was really
Incredible.
expansive.
Oh yeah, I forget about that. Yeah, and it's like literally 5 times what you could have done in Halo 5. Man, people like are recreating like 343 Guilty Spark from Halo
Hmm.
CE. They're capturing that super fucking edgy, creepy vibe in the swamp, and it's like fully done. It's incredible looking.
But
And then
yeah, so
everything else.
one of the biggest things is for the longest time it was structures and
Mm,
and and things like that. It was like 90% functional and like 10% fluff. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? All the things that you would create and place served a purpose, and then there was a little bit of decoration. You know, there was like, here's a gun stand. You don't really need it, but there you go. Here's a light, doesn't really serve a purpose, but there you go. And
Yeah.
then in Halo 5, I'm not sure if they did this in Master Chief Collection. I don't remember because they did updates to that one. But at least in Halo 5's Forge mode, they actually started adding scenery pieces, like more and more scenery pieces, and
Mm.
trees, rocks,
Yeah.
actual like terrain and things like that. And actually, you can start building real environments and real maps out of it,
Mm-hmm.
and get not quite full missions, but in that direction. And that's kind of where they were. It seemed like they pushed the Halo Infinite to just fully recreate like whole sequences,
Yeah.
and
Really
people
be
are building
scenic with your builds.
yeah, and people are building fan built campaigns out of it.
Yeah, because you look back at Halo Reach, man, and a lot of those Forge maps that got designed by 343, though, of course, or Bungie,
Mm.
made its way into the actual competitive gameplay. And I think that that
Yeah.
was like the main thing that they were shooting for was like these almost symmetrical, but then sometimes asymmetric, but just literally design maps with no scenic value to them, but it just played well for a 2v2, a 3v3, or your standard 6v6, 5v5, whatever it is, right? But then in Halo 5, we started getting towards that, like, weather effects, and you can really make these maps feel like they have almost a story to it without you even having to play a story mode. Like you just get in there and you feel this, like there's a scenic value that we've never seen in the Forge mode before. And then now it's just incredible. Like you can script AI now. There is scriptable AI. So that also got me interested where I'm starting to think, man, because of the gameplay that I felt that I received from the Infinite campaign, I felt like I didn't get enough, but that's me. I've been playing Halo since '04. So that's just kind of how I felt. A lot of other people though really enjoy the campaign, then some people didn't. But what are you gonna do? You can't stop all the people that talk shit, right? But I'm thinking, dude, some people are gonna maybe make some maps, man, where it's gonna be like fan created campaign levels. Can you imagine?
So
Can you
there
imagine?
there are projects. There's a couple big projects right now that are obviously nonprofit that
Yeah.
are redesigning campaigns to encompass a lot of. There's one that I've seen that is supposed to be the entirety of the Halo campaign, like
Mm-hmm.
the whole Halo storyline remastered and retold,
Oh,
and they completely redesigned, and it's this whole undertaking. And like
yeah.
there are other people doing similar things, so like it's really exciting prospect to see what people are able to put together, especially if working with teams of people.
Well, did you watch? Did you
Um,
watch that mod showcase? Is that where you're getting that from?
yeah.
Mm. Bro, that mod showcase was super cool, bro. What was the main one that I liked? It was called Halo something, and I remember reaching out to them on Twitter. They didn't answer me back, of course. Somebody did though. Somebody answered me and was like, "Get this man a job." But I was like, "Yo, this is cool. Let me know if you guys would like a voice for a secondary or a tertiary character. I would love to supply some lines, and I would love to just kind of dabble in that field. I think it'd be a great start, and I would love to just give you guys a hand if you guys are looking for it for free, of course, no charge." Never
Yeah.
replied to me, but it was super cool. It was Halo something Reborn, Halo Reborn. That's what it was.
Yeah, that's what it was.
And I was so excited. I'm like, this looks so freaking cool, man. I'm excited for a lot of that stuff. I actually ended up downloading the Halo Contingency. And I was wanting to play that online. And then I hit connect to a match and it goes, no players found. And I've never cried so hard in my life, but I downloaded the whole thing and it's really cool too because I like that. I like that fan made Halo shit. I just like fan made Halo things in general, man. I really think it's cool. But speaking back on that ODST topic too, I don't know if you've caught this or known this, but MCC, they finally did it. I mean, we've been asking for years. Flood Firefight. They did Flood Firefight for Halo 3 ODST. Are you tracking on that?
Oh, I didn't see that at all.
Dude, Halo 3 ODST Master Chief Collection Flood Firefight. It's creepy, man. It's creepy.
Oh,
It's creepy.
every flood mission that has ever existed is creepy and is just jump scare central because
Yeah,
they always
man.
The only time it's not jump scares is when you're already deep in it. When you're already deep in it,
Yeah.
sometimes you see it coming because you see the I always forget what they're called. The ones that are like the pods full of like the little crawlers. Those ones you
Oh,
usually see coming, but every other
yeah.
time they always are jumping off the walls or like coming out
They
of a
just
vent or
jump
something.
on you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember playing the library with one of my buddies,
Oh man.
and my mom had to come out because we were both screwed. We were like, "Whoa, whoa!" Because we're playing on Legendary, and she's like, "Yeah,
Yep.
we're gonna shut that shit down." But my favorite flood map though of all time is literally just called the Flood from Halo 3. Like that was just hands down something about that mission, man. Just did it for me, dude. I thought it was so freaking cool. And then getting the speaking of the skulls, you literally had to shoot the dude as he jumped over from the one building to the other
Yep. In order for them to drop
midway
it.
when he
Yep.
would drop the skull. Yeah, and I thought that was just the
That
neatest thing, man.
that mission, if you play it with all skulls on Legendary, is so hard. There is no ammo on that map, like
Well, I
at
never did
all.
any of that. So,
It's so there's like no ammo. You're constantly you have to pick up like every gun you come across because you just have no ammo.
Jesus, yeah. I never
Yeah, it's
really got into
awful.
that stuff. I never really had anybody to do it with either, and I never wanted to do that solo because I would have probably thrown a
Oh
controller
yeah,
out the
solo
window.
solo's terrible.
What were you? I
Um,
saw you looking something up. What were you looking up there?
so I was trying to remember the name of this. So I was paying attention to this religiously. So when Halo 4 first got spoiled,
Mm.
I believe it was Oh God, am I being dumb? No, no, sorry, Halo 5. Halo Five's first trailer, where it just like shows him overlooking like the cliffs and stuff like that, and like you're like, oh, he's still around, and then like they start teasing a little bit more, and they're like, okay, why is he on the run? Why are people looking for him? You know what I
Mm.
mean? And they don't
Yeah.
really talk about it at all. They started releasing this like storyline podcast called Hunt the Truth.
Oh yeah,
I
yeah,
can't
yeah, yeah,
remember.
yeah, yeah.
So good. I every episode, every week, I was listening to these, and I would download them on my phone and listen to them because it was while I was deployed. So yeah, anytime I
Mm-hmm.
could get my hands on them, I was listening to them. So good, such a good little for the people. Either if you're a deep lover of the lore in Halo and the storyline, a lot of great callbacks, tons of really neat characters that tie into that. If you're not big on the story, but you've at least played the mainline games, would highly recommend still because it does fill in some gaps that you may not know, as well as it does touch on some characters that you should be familiar with. Master Chief, Dr. Halsey, things like that.
Yeah.
Especially with this newer trilogy of 4, 5, and Infinite, where Dr. Halsey and Cortana and Master Chief are so important as to why things are the way they are. Really ties into that.
Yeah,
Such
man,
a
I
such a
need
great
to
series.
I need to listen through that whole thing because I can listen to anything Halo podcast like all freaking day. Like that's just you, dude. I woo my collection of
So
Halo things right here like says it all. You know what I'm saying? But
yeah,
Halo's such an expanded universe now that you can do anything with it, dude. TV shows, movies, podcasts, freaking animated. They should do something animated again, like they did with Halo Legends. I thought it was incredible. Stuff like
so,
that. Let me see what you got me here. Oh, he sent it to
yep.
me.
Yep, this person compiled it into it one long video, just the entire thing end to end. That's all of them.
Dude, and that's it just kind of reminds me of like the whole thing that I tweeted out the other day where I'm trying to write this fan inspired Halo book and I'm super super stoked for it, man. But I feel like Halo can just be taken so many different directions, man. And there's so much fun to be had inside that universe. And it just
Mhm.
sucks that we're just kind of restricted to only what 343 decides to put out in a game. When there's
Yeah,
so much more, man, especially with the Marines. Like, dude, just think about it, man. Imagine a video game that's reminiscent of Call of Duty, but it's literally just a UNSC, dude, versus like
I mean
insurrectionists and stuff. So we're thinking about like
that's
Insurgency Sandstorm. That'd be
yeah. So
sick.
that's if you think about it to a degree, that's kind of what ODST and what Reach were. They
Yeah.
were they were highlighting the other characters of the story. They were
Mhm.
they were there because obviously Halo 1 is following like Master Chief happens to be in the middle of this big battle, and
Y
it kind of follows him because he's the one who gets off of the ship and kind of follows him, and then Halo 2 is kind of a continuation of the way Halo 1 ended, and 3 is immediately following Halo 2,
Yeah.
and obviously 4, 5, and 6 is kind of the same way. Shit hits the fan again, and everything
Hmm.
comes full circle. But after the first couple games, Master Chief is now established as the main protagonist of the story and what it focuses around. But Halo Reach and ODST are telling. Well, ODST is more a parallel story to what's going on with Master Chief, whereas Reach is a prequel. It's separate in
Yeah.
itself of
Yeah.
what's going on, and obviously there's a ton of lore that goes into everything that happened on Reach, and with all the novels and everything, there is so much more story that has been told. But even beyond that, there's all the Forerunner lore. There's the Flood and how it ties into the Forerunners. You have all these other planets. You have, like you said, all the other Marines and all the other battles they fought. The insurrectionist thing, I feel like, is an interesting story to tell because of the way the Spartans tie into that story,
Yeah.
as well as it leading into the Covenant, the initial Covenant invasion um, years prior,
Hmm.
um, and everything. So like there are definitely stories to tell there, um, and there is room to tell it without overlapping or stepping on the toes of the established universe.
Yeah.
It's just one of those things that you'd have to do the research and really deep dive into a lot of these books to see what's there and what isn't there. You know what I mean? To see what story there is to tell and the best angle to tell it from.
Yeah. Did you watch the Halo show at all?
The live action or the animated one?
Live action.
No, I haven't gotten a chance to watch it yet.
I liked it, man. I thought it was pretty cool. I know a lot of people don't like it, but I liked it. Anything Halo, I like. It was definitely interesting though, because it's a different take, I guess you could say. So it just made me think when you were talking about stepping on the toes of what's already been established. But I know what they went for in the TV show. I totally get it. They wanted to tackle more of the uh I haven't played many of the games, but Halo sounds cool because it's a sci-fi type deal. So how about I watch this and experience Halo for almost the first time? That's the field that they were going for. And I can respect it to a degree, but there are some things that if they had done, I would have lost my mind, right? But it's still a very enjoyable experience because it's fucking Halo, man. It's a TV show and it looks incredible. It looks incredible, so I highly recommend definitely watching it, man, because I already had Paramount Plus to begin with anyways, so it was thrown in my lap like, "Oh, here's Halo, by the way," and I'm like, "Fucking don't mind if I do," right? Um, but yeah, man, I'm excited. I hope they do DLC content with Halo Infinite, but I don't know what's gonna come with that. I really don't. DLC as far as, like, campaign. But
So I
DLC, like,
think
this isn't a thing anymore with, like, any game. It's super weird because I
so.
remember.
I think the big reason for that is, and this is actually a great uh, segment to have, and because there's so much you can talk about, is modern game design. In a lot of ways, if you think about the way as far as categories of games, you
Yeah.
have your single player like story game RPG kind of game, which
Mhm.
is usually beginning to end. That's all there is to it, and occasionally they'll do a DLC where maybe it's a little extra add-on to the story, you know, and you'll pay a little bit for that, and but they'll have maybe one or two of those, nothing too crazy.
Yeah.
Then if you have something that's like an open world RPG which has a ton of replayability to it, they it's usually a one and done, and it's they will update things and occasionally add a little bit of content to keep you replaying it, but they don't typically have any additional paid content. Then you have battle royales, which are for I'll say 90% of them are free to play, and their traditional monetization that you pay for is battle passes and cosmetics.
Yeah.
And then you have something like Halo and Call of Duty, which is this weird middle ground because Call of Duty dipped into the battle royale ring with Warzone, but
Mm-hmm.
they've since separated Warzone from their mainline campaigns,
Yeah.
where it exists in tandem and gets updates with their campaign as new games come out, but they're not 100% connected.
Mm-hmm.
So you're paying for just campaign, and uh, and in the case of the Black Ops games or that series, the zombies modes,
Yeah.
and potentially paying for additional maps for like that specifically. Um, so it's kind of weird because Call of Duty and Halo being some of the only couple games that really exist now as both like free online multiplayer but also a campaign game. There's not a lot of those that still exist.
Yeah.
And
It's kind of almost
it
like, how is your campaign still surviving? Now that everything
mhm,
big is becoming free, but then you can buy in-game cosmetics that make, the game a little bit more of a better experience, right? But how do we keep that campaign 50 fucking dollar experience still alive? And I think,
mhm,
me personally, I think that's kind of where Infinite struggled this year. I feel like there's a lot more they should have brought to the table, but I hope that they bring free DLC to the game, because if they're charging for more, it's going to be a very bad time for Halo. And I'm telling you right now, if they charge for extra DLC game campaign content, it's not going to be good, man. It really isn't. But let me cut to the restroom real quick, and I want to talk about that because I want to go from Halo, and then I want to start talking about Call of Duty. Unless that wasn't one of your ideas, we can kind of cut into whatever you want. And then I definitely want to speak on Call of Duty because, man, is that looking good this year. But I'll be right back. Oh man.
Hey, Mike. So before we segue into Call of Duty, I wanted to touch briefly on the pretty big change in the Blizzard sphere as far as gaming is concerned, which is
Mm.
Overwatch 2. So
Oh,
the doors have closed on
yeah, yeah.
Overwatch officially. Those servers are down, no longer playing that.
Wow.
Overwatch 2 hit the scene, and whether you like playing that style of game, because Overwatch is there's only a couple games that have kind of dipped into the MOBA shooter kind of hybrid that Overwatch is.
Mm-hmm.
The other one of note that I can think of would be Paladins, which is similar but different. And it's Overwatch is obviously the biggest name in that industry because of it being made by Blizzard. They have all the money in the world to throw at them,
Oh yeah.
and something that they've caught a lot of flack on since Overwatch 2 hitting is because they are doing crossplay matchmaking for
Oops.
whenever you do crossplay. One thing that's typically an issue in other games that do crossplay for first-person shooters is aim assist.
Mm.
And right now in Overwatch 2, in a crossplay lobby, console players' aim assist is disabled forcibly,
Okay.
which a lot of people don't like.
And then what
So
about for PC? Can you still play with PC players in that?
yes, so
And do
you're
they
still
have aim
able to.
assist for PC?
Well, no. So
Oh, okay.
typically, aim assist doesn't exist for mouse and keyboard.
All
It's
right.
just not because of how the snapping works. So, but that's typically the trade off, and people see that. Some people see it as fair and balanced. Some people say no, aim assist is still too strong, and that being able to snap and more easily control recoil and things like that with mouse and keyboard is the trade-off for not having aim assist, and having a more difficult to control recoil and stuff like that is the trade-off for getting aim assist.
Yeah.
But in Overwatch 2, there's no option for it. So you either are not playing crossplay with PC,
Yeah.
but if you do, you just have no option, and just aim assist is completely deactivated, which
Oh my goodness.
a lot of people are a lot of mixed feelings there. And
Yeah, and I've seen. Have you seen that video of the dude that actually goes in depth as to why aim assist exists on a controller? Like
Yeah,
somebody,
I
it was like a
have.
TikTok or Vine thing or whatever, and I can't remember word for word what he said, but it was pretty smart. Like it was intelligent, just because of the way the play style works on a controller. You pretty much need aim assist because I don't know this. This is the only thing I can resort to when it comes to turning aim assist off and trying to do this. But on Black Ops 2, when I used to quick scope all the time and do all those quick scopes, trick shots, all that crap, right? I remember turning every now and then because some people said it would make you a better shot if you did it. I would change aim assist off and I couldn't fucking get a kill to save my life, dude, on a controller. I don't know what it is, but it's just so freaking difficult, man. Like
So it
I don't
has to
know.
do
Or
with
maybe I was just
it's
ass. That was probably it.
well, so it's because of the way a typical person is going to hold a controller in order to do your maneuvering. So
Mhm.
like your muscle tension and everything. So like the act of like pulling a trigger, regardless of whether it's upper up top buttons or bottom buttons, your hands are gonna flex a certain way,
Yeah.
and then when you combine that with strafing motion or actual like advancing or retreating motion, and you're adding in aiming, so you're doing all these different muscle tensions, and especially depending on your sensitivity level, those little adjustments
Mhm.
when you're shooting guns at any range, you know what I mean. You're gonna throw off your reticle by enough that it's gonna cause you to miss a fair amount of shots.
Yeah.
And
Man.
obviously, there's a lot more that goes into that, but that's kind of the trade-off. And the idea is, aim assist exists for everybody, so everybody gets to use it. But now that we're getting into the age where there's so much cross-play in games, and you're playing on PC, it can seem unfair. But at the same time, there's the argument that the the person at the pinnacle of skill using mouse and keyboard should exceed that of what is capable on a controller.
Yeah. But I feel
Now,
like a
your
skill.
average, it should
Yeah.
sit about the middle between the two of them, though,
Oh
with aim
yeah.
assist and with mouse and keyboard, and that's kind of what the idea is to kind of balance that out.
But I also feel like the pinnacle of a keyboard player, mouse and keyboard player, is far superior to that of a controller player.
Exactly,
Because
that's what I'm saying.
you
So
could only get so
that's
good as a controller. But man, dude, I've seen some freaky shit from people on mouse and keyboard, dude.
there's a lot of things that you can do with movement, tap, strafing, and
Yeah.
the way you can snap aim and stuff like that with a mouse that you just cannot do with a controller due to just the limitations of how they work. Not to mention, certain games have built-in uh, user interface
Yeah.
things that you can do on a mouse and keyboard that you can't do on a controller, like navigating menus and things like that. A good example is Apex. So in Apex, when you're looting someone's death box, you are
Hmm.
unable to move. However, if you are on PC, you can strafe while looting a death box.
Yeah, which is freaking huge for a
Yes,
looter
big
shooter.
difference. Now, console to console, that's fair. It's expected. That's how it is. But when you're playing between the two, that's
Hmm.
a huge disparity because if you're looting a box and someone's on, you're at a huge disadvantage. And obviously, like, you're still able to get shot if you're strafing looting a box because there's a limited amount of space that you can move. But having that little percentage, you know what I mean? Every edge counts when you're talking about higher scaled, more competitive play.
Yeah, man. Apex is. I'm always in and out with Apex, man. I like that though,
Yeah.
but that's interesting, man. I'm not an Overwatch guy though. Anyways, I have never. I don't think I've ever enjoyed the idea of Overwatch. It just hasn't really been. I don't know. I just don't
Well,
see it.
you
That's
you also voiced your opinion about capture the flag, not being a big fan of it, and it might be that you maybe don't maybe objective style gameplay doesn't hit it for you. Maybe you want
yeah.
to do the run and gun, you want to hit the scoreboard. You know what I mean? And
Yep,
that's
team
more just not
deathmatch on
a
Call of Duty all the time. Search and destroy was the one thing that I liked because I definitely didn't like capture the flag in Call of Duty. It just didn't really make any sense to me. But I mean, I don't know, they brought it anyways. But
I think two of my favorite modes that have come and gone back and forth in Call of Duty over the years are demolition and sabotage.
mm,
Two different takes on a similar objective
yeah,
that were always super fun. For those of you that are unfamiliar, so demolition was you have an attacking side and a defending side. If you're attacking, your goal is to plant and destroy bombs at 2 different objective sites, and the other team has to stop you. And if you plant, defuse, and you just keep doing until the time runs out.
Mm-hmm.
Sabotage was unique because it was 2 teams. No one was on offense or defense. You were simultaneously trying to destroy the objective site, and if someone planted the bomb, you had to defuse it. It was a very weird one that was very high intensity. A lot of sprinting towards the objective to be the one in control of it. It was very wacky. And
But
both
if
of
I
those
remember
have
correctly, they had like 3 sites or 2 sites, right? For like
yeah
demolition, you had 2 different sites you can go to. Yeah.
yeah demolition was 2 different sites, whereas sabotage was just the one.
Okay. And that
But
was sabotage was usually their base, right? You had to get into their base, plant the bomb, and then explode their base, essentially.
yes, think of it kind of like capture the flag. So you're
Mm-hmm.
both kind of attacking slash defending at the exact same time, but you
Mm-hmm.
can't plant a bomb on their base if yours is planted. So you had to like if they got yours planted first, you have to defuse it, and maybe your teammate is like at their base trying to hide, waiting for you to defuse so that they can plant because they're just waiting, trying not to die. It was a very
Jeez.
weird tug of war take on it. And those game modes have like sometimes they show up both. Like I believe Modern Warfare 2 they were both there, and then Modern Warfare 3 I think only had sabotage, and like Black Ops would have like one but not the other, and like they always change which game modes they include in the Call of Duties, which is interesting.
Yeah, I miss Face Off from 3, man. That was such a jamboree. Oh my
Yeah,
goodness.
Face Off was good.
But speaking about Call of Duty, man, yo, this new Call of Duty, man, I haven't been this excited in a minute, and I was super excited for the first Modern Warfare, and I pre-ordered it and everything, and then I ended up getting tasked for deployment, and I was like, man, and I had to watch everything while I was overseas, and then sure as shit, another Modern Warfare. I'm super excited for it, thinking about pre-ordering it, and they go, "Hey, by the way, you have to take somebody's spot on a deployment." And I was like, "Oh, they told me I wasn't going to be touched this year, man." But can't really complain about a deployment because some people really want one and don't get one. You know what I'm saying? But twofold, I'll probably be able to enjoy the game for a little while before I leave, and then I'll have to go. So at least I get to be here and experience it. But holy shit, man, Modern Warfare 2 looks incredible, man. Looks incredible. I don't know. What are you thinking? What are you thinking over there?
The game definitely looks interesting. So there, it's hard. So I as far for me personally, Modern Warfare 2 is my favorite. The original Modern Warfare 2 is my favorite Call of Duty. So
Mm-hmm.
it's I didn't know what to expect. Like I don't know what I would have expected because they called this last one Modern Warfare. I don't know, of course they're gonna call it Modern Warfare 2.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But like it at least for me, like now granted, some of the things that I love about Modern Warfare 2 were completely busted and unfair, and they were broken game mechanics that shouldn't have existed, but that's what made them so fun.
Mm-hmm.
um like Modern Warfare 2 and before that, the scavenger perk, you could scavenge lethals as well as any type of ammo. So you could scavenge claymores, you could
Okay.
scavenge C4, you could scavenge grenade launchers, aka noob tubes, which was extremely overpowered. They also had a perk that has not been seen since called One Man Army. One Man Army replaced your perk 1 slot as well as your secondary. You did not have a secondary when you had this perk equipped.
Mm-hmm.
And what would happen is when you switch to your secondary, you would pull up your loadout menu. You'd pick a different loadout, and there would be a load bar. Once the load bar completed, you have switched loadouts to a completely separate loadout. The way to abuse this was if you had multiple one man army classes. So you could have a
Mm.
sniper class with one man army. You could have a noob tube class with one man army. You could have an SMG class with one man army, and you would just have infinite ammo because it would refill your lethals and your
Yeah.
ammo and everything, and you could just stay in a spot or be running gunning and just stop in a bush to restock and
Wow.
just run around. Yeah, it was a very very strong one. Now, probably the most ridiculous one now, perks wise, in Modern Warfare 2 was Commando Pro.
Mm-hmm.
There were two things about that were ridiculous. So the pro side of Commando made it so you took no fall damage,
Yep.
which was
Yep.
ridiculous because there was all kinds of buildings and things like that. Whether it was on Rust or you were at Skywalker or any of the maps really, where you're
Mm-hmm.
jumping off of buildings and heights that you should be dying from and just like sprinting around. The other side is the far more controversial one, which it seems like it's made its way into other games just because of the way the game mechanics are, and that is it extends the distance where you can use your
Knife.
your knife or melee.
Yeah.
And in these older games, you didn't have to melee someone multiple times to kill them. You
Mm-hmm.
meleeed once, they were instantly dead. It wasn't 2 hits. And when you were doing this kind of teleport knife and flying 5, 6, 7, 8 feet to knife someone, or like when they're like trying to round a corner and things like that, that was it could get pretty infuriating to the point where you had marathon, which is never-ending sprint.
Yeah,
You
yeah, yeah.
had lightweight, which is faster sprint, and then you have Commando Pro, so you are sprinting around the map with throwing knives and the ability to knife people from 6, 7, 8 feet away, and that was one of the go-to trolling loadouts. And they'd usually have like a right shield or something like that to block bullets and get over around, which
Right.
obviously is its own aggravating, but.
I mean,
You brought up
and
quick.
the new tubes were just terrible in Modern Warfare 2,
Yeah.
man. That's like
Well, yeah, it was
everybody's
just-
horror story from that game.
Yep, because unless you had, I'm blanking the name on that perk, but the one that reduced,
Flak jacket?
yes, Flak Jacket. Now, the main reason why it was such a problem, it wasn't, well, I mean, for all the reasons I stated above, but they also included a perk for the perk 2 slot in Modern Warfare 2 called Danger Close, which increased the damage of all explosives that you used. So even with Flak Jacket, you were taking massive damage. So unless you had Flak Jacket, you were one-shot killed by any grenade, any noob tube, any of that. And people were just, throw C4 through a window, double tap square or X on the case if you're playing Xbox, and just insta pop it, and things were just getting really easily killed. And the other thing that they introduced in Modern Warfare 2 was the perk system that they were using. So not only like in Black Ops and World at War and original Modern Warfare, whereas perks stacked on each other. So if your kill streaks got kills, they would roll into the next kill streaks. That's something they kind of phased out with later Call of Duties.
Mm-hmm.
But the problem with this is that the typical go-to was 7 kill streak Harrier jet, which would just float above, shooting rockets and machine gunning people down.
Yeah.
Which rolls into the 11 kill streak, which is either the chopper gunner or the AC-130, which you basically are hiding in a bush somewhere and you get to aerially control and just mow people down because it highlights them on the map. And then if you get to 25, which you usually, after an AC-130 or chopper gunner, you usually ended up around 20 plus or minus 2. So you get a hair more kills, you get the 25, which is the nuke.
Yeah, yeah.
Which, in later games, what the nuke does is it kills everyone in the game, and you get like 10 kills out of it, or 15 kills, whatever, how big the game is. In Modern Warfare 2, it ended the game.
Yeah.
And just gave you the W. Which, depending on the game, because like if you're doing team deathmatch, you might get to the nuke before the end, but the game's probably over at that point.
Oh yeah,
If you're playing an objective game like domination, demolition, sabotage, where you have multiple rounds and it's going for a while, you could end the game 5 minutes early.
Oh yeah.
And
That's mad funny.
And a big reminder for the Avid fans there is, anytime you got a kill streak 10 times, once you got it 10 times, you unlocked the little emblem that you could put on your calling card. So anytime you saw someone with the nuke symbol spinning, you knew they've gotten a nuke in a game at least 10 times. Which means either A, they were a hacker, or B, you knew they were doing some really obnoxious shit.
Yeah, they were running
like nuke
one-man army all the
army
time
something.
and tearing it up, dude. man. So what about Warzone 2, man? Have you seen all this stuff for Warzone 2?
I've seen a bit about it. Yeah, like it looks really nice. Like the
Ooh.
visuals look
Mm.
fantastic, and
The
it's one
game
of those
in
things that
general, man, Modern Warfare 2 looks phenomenal. It's
yeah.
crazy. My buddy's like, "Yeah, dude, it's just a carbon copy of Modern Warfare." And I'm like, "Are you fucking blind, dude? Have you seen the improvements that they made with this game?" I am just I'm super stoked, man. I've become a fanboy once again because the last 2 years, no. Modern Warfare, I was super stoked for, so I'm super excited to see what they do. But have you seen any gameplay on Warzone 2 at all?
I saw the original gameplay drop, like that very first teaser,
Mm,
where there's like wasn't much that they show, and it was very early, like walking around, like I think it was a snapshot from the like a campaign story or something like that. It was just kind of like very light walking around, and
yeah.
like I think they get into like a small engagement, but I don't
Hmm.
think nothing from the actual multiplayer.
I watched Tim the Tap Man play this morning. I just watched his older video on his first game, and the looting is very interesting. It's kind of like your not quite like PUBG, but it's different. You actually have to click through what you want to loot now. You can't. It doesn't just spawn around the body and you kind of pick up as you want. Um, you actually have to go through and choose what you want. So it's very slower pace now, a little bit more deliberate now. You got to really kind of pick and choose what you want, what you don't want, crap like that. And then I
Seems like
saw in his gameplay
Apex.
there was AI too. There's AI in the game, interestingly enough. Which I think that's pretty cool too. Like Warzone's kind of done that a little bit now. You play like Fortune's Keep and you'll be in like a house and zombies will start spawning. And I'm like, oh, this is an interesting little, take. Um, but I'm interested, man. I'm interested for Modern Warfare. I think I'll probably excuse me. My throat's really starting to feel it, man. I think I'm probably gonna pre-order it one of these days. Just got paid, payday. So just might pre-order it, but I don't know. I don't know if I want to be the pre-order guy or not, because
Yeah, it's
Hoopy told
hard
us
to
not to fucking get
justify.
it.
Yeah, I was like, it's one of those things. It's hard to justify pre-orders nowadays.
Yeah. Or it was who was it that told us not to get it? What's the blacklisted gaming when he was on first telling us
Yeah,
about his
that's right.
podcast. Yeah. He was like, "Don't pre-order it." I was like, "Oh, all right." But now, I mean, man, it just looks so sexy, dude. I want to pre-order it so bad, man.
It's just like
Fucking
it's just
Brock,
because there's
man.
like it feels like there's no reason to do it, and like
Yeah.
you don't get anything out of pre-ordering it.
Well, I mean, you do. You get some stuff out here. I'll tell you. I'll tell you what you do get if you get you get the you get the 50 tier skips, which is ridiculous. You get the Ghost Legacy pack, the Red Team 141 operator pack, the Cinder weapon vault, and then which that's very interesting. That's kind of why I want to pre-order that. But you get to play the campaign a week early. So I see what you mean by is in pre-ordering in general. Unless you buy the Vault Edition, you really don't get anything. You just kind of get to play it a week
Yeah,
early, which
that's
is like, what even is that? But I
yeah.
mean, dude, that means I get to play next week, and that sounds pretty fucking sexy, man. Like, I'm not even
So
gonna
it's
lie to
fair.
you. Yeah,
Yeah, the time is precious for you right now.
it really is. That's why I think I just might pre-order it, man. But I mean, I don't know. I'm not too. The campaign better be super special because I've never really been a campaign player. So when it comes to Modern Warfare, man, um, aside from Call of Duty, just a small little topic, man. I'm actually impressed to see it. Red Dead Redemption, man. They really haven't been doing much for RDO, but they're actually doing a complete Halloween update this year again. It's basically a second edition as to what they did last year, and you're gonna be able to get the Halloween pass again, unlock creepy freaking masks and all that crap. So I'm actually excited. I think I just might get back on Red Dead
Yeah, I might have to
RDO
tap
to
back
kind of
into that
experience that.
then.
Yeah, dude, I think you should do it. Oh yeah, look at all this, man. It's the artwork, man, that I absolutely love about Red Dead. But I love the Western theme, and I love the old Wild West, man. Just fucking, I love that crap. Oh wow, yeah. But yeah, I'm interested to see it. And it goes all the way until October 31st. So they've already started it. So, Hardcore Halloween series, we've already missed that. Now we're in the Hardcore Halloween series 2 called Fear of the Dark. Okay. Dead of the Night. What if they did another what was it called again? Red Dead, the zombie thing that they did. I never played it. I never
Gosh, I
experienced
don't
it.
remember.
Something of the Dead, right? I don't know. I'm excited though, man. It's just good to see RDO doing something because it's got a good player base, and I don't know why they just don't support it anymore. But it's making people go, well, then if you're not going to support it, then like, what are we supposed to do? But then again, the role play aspect of Red Dead is incredible, man. The Red M,
Yeah, I think the problem is that the cash cow for Rockstar is and always will be GTA.
which is just on GTA 5 is just so old now, man. I can't believe people still engage with that game. It's a vibe, don't get me wrong sometimes,
Yeah.
but like for what it's being played for right now, I just don't see it, man. It's just a bunch of people running around thinking they're gangster on or on GTA.
I mean, for some people, it's a time investment thing. You know what I mean? Like you put so many hours in a game, like you build up a character and like your online,
It's true.
uh, your presence and your inventory and stuff like that. Like you could say the same thing about really any type of living style game, where you get that time investment, you know what I mean? And especially if it's something that you've put some real life money into to expand on, get more content, stuff like that.
Oh yeah.
That you're like, if I stop playing, I stop getting value for what I've put in thus far.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. You're right. You're right. You're right.
And it also goes to like the don't yuck somebody else's yum. You know what I mean? That maybe that gameplay is what that people want. Like there's a lot of people who don't like Apex, but I mean I've played it on and off since the game dropped out of nowhere. Whatever it was, November 2014 or whatever, or not,
Mm.
was it 2016,
Mm-hmm.
2015, something, whatever it was. But yeah, like since it dropped then, I've played it pretty consistently on and off since then, and not a lot of people have fallen off the game, and a lot of people have fallen off like Overwatch. A lot of people have fallen off Call of Duty. A lot of people have fallen off Halo. But there are people who they'll live and die by it.
That's me with Halo and Call of Duty, man.
Yeah.
Well, look, man, I think that was a good episode. I think that was pretty good. I'm already yawning, man, and my throat is tearing me up. I don't know how I sound. I don't know if I sound awful or different. Do I
Nah,
sound a little bit different?
you sound great, man.
Well, that's good. Oh, well,
That's that throat coat.
it's that throat coat, bro. That's what the kids are calling it these days. Let me tell you. Well, I appreciate it. Making me blush over here, dog. But no, it's a good episode, man. I appreciate you for hanging around, man, and doing this. And then tomorrow, obviously, tomorrow being Saturday for us, depending on when this should go up tomorrow, Saturday morning. And then I just might do something with the episode that we record tomorrow, and we might just have a sooner rather than later second episode coming very soon. For the folks that want to experience a show with a guest on it, and the guest is going to be great. So, but that's it. That's it from us. Obviously, our sponsor shout out, G Fuel, Gamer Advantage, and Paradox. We appreciate y'all for being along for the mission. And then, of course, that special thank you to Stack Up for everything that they do for people that are deployed, for people that are military and military alike, and everything else under the moon. We appreciate everything you guys do and working alongside with us. And we all support this mission for the vets that deserve it. You know what I'm saying? Other than that, we appreciate you for tuning in. Jake, what do you got for him before we head out?
Not much. Just gotta give our standard shout out from the last time that last few times we've been on, which is find your joy and get after it.
Mm, we love that. Full engagement and finding joy. The two greatest traits, man. I actually sat in a vehicle with an airman not too long ago and talked to him about that. And I was like, full engagement, man, and finding joy. It was a really cool in depth. That's been going well, by the way, too, since I've been out here being an NCO, being a supervisor for the first time. And it's an incredible experience, man. It really is. Just being able to be to assist, right? And be able to help guide somebody in that right direction. It's just a really neat opportunity to have, man. And it's one of those things that might keep me in, but I'm on the edge, man. I'm on the edge on where I want to go because I have only, a year and a half left. And that's, it's still in my mind churning. Where do I want to go? What do I want to do? But yeah, man, it's been good. It's been like a month and a half since I think we've done an episode, and I think this is a great way to come back, just chop it up about everything new that's in the gaming realm, and then we're gonna hit it hard. Start talking to our guests, and then we'll kind of see where it goes from there. But all right, that's it. We appreciate y'all for tuning into this episode, and we will see you guys in the next one.
See you guys
Peace.
next time.